forward to the next.
Being in politics, I hereby make this solemn vow to you, this will be wrapped up by midnight. Actually, in all seriousness, we have about half an hour because they want us out of here at 9. So I'm going to kick this off and ask our two panelists to do the abridged version of who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
Prince, would you like to start?
I'm a gentleman.
Hello, dear ladies and gentlemen. My name is Katerina Albrecht. I originally come from Ukraine, but currently I stay in the United States. And today I'm representing the global social advocacy movement, which is called Creative Society, which is right now being actively implemented in Asia, Eastern Europe, as well as the United States and 180 countries of the world. And I will share the example of how we spread the information, how we get this message to humanity, and about the role of social media in doing that, in that process. Thank you so much.
That's impressive. I should have gone first. My name is Prince. I am a Navy vet. I used to work for NATO. I do a lot of work in the realm of education, but also loneliness, which I hope I'll get to talk about a little bit right now. I am working on my doctorate at Vanderbilt University in education right now. And I am here representing myself, no other organization or political entity.
Right. Do we have any panelists who are online at the present time?
Hello everyone, my name is Dimitar Mitov. I'm Deputy Chairman of the Board of Association for Independent Judiciary, which is located in Sofia, Bulgaria. I'm attorney at law, and as I say, I'm also working in the NGO sector, especially in the sphere of independence of Bulgarian judicial system and problems of the rule of law in Bulgaria.
Very good. Do we have sound yet? I guess not. We can't hear you.
We also have Akiko from Tokyo. She
Okay.
might be also with us.
But I don't see him on the screen.
Can you hear me now, please?
Yay!
Okay, I'll take the earpiece off. Hello, everyone. My name is Chidinma Bojako, and I head government relations and joint venture operations for an indigenous energy company in Nigeria called Hess Holdings Oil and Gas Limited, and I'm pleased to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. The official topic here is government relations leadership, and we were going to talk a little bit about Congress, but I think we ought to broaden this out just a little bit because we have people here who are not native to the United States. So I think we'll just start, Prince, with you. Just give us a snapshot of what you would say are the most important principles of government relations leadership, meaning that which you do if you want to succeed.
Okay, I think some folks were answering that a little bit earlier too, but I think to really be successful, and this might throw some of you off, you have to be authentic. You have to have integrity, but you have to be authentic, you have to be brave, and you have to be vulnerable. A lot of folks feel like they can't trust you until you prove that you can, that they won't trust you until you've proven yourself. But if you want to be a leader, you have to be vulnerable before they'll trust you. So it's sort of like a backwards sort of way to go, if that makes sense. Maybe it didn't.
The same question to me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, I would 100% agree on what Prince said, because I think the sincerity that you have inside, this is something that you should be guided by in your life, in your relationship with people, in your work relationship, everywhere. This is something that you have to come back to every time you make any decision in your life. You have to come back to this conscience that you have. And basically, it will for sure make you successful in everything you do, because this is something that by the end of the day will give you that feeling that you've done everything possible, and this was not against any belief that you have inside. So I guess this is one of the main principles that will make you successful in everything you do. Whether it's politics, whether it's, I don't know, just talking to a neighbor, or whether it's, yeah, just like I said before, anything that you do. So this sincerity, the conscious choice of yours, and, just trusting yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Dimitar?
Should I go?
Yes, you could go.
Okay, for me, as a government relations practitioner in Nigeria, I would say one key success factor would be for me to be able to clearly map out my stakeholders and also have a power map such that I'm able to understand the level of influence of my stakeholders and also be able to understand their reach and how they also impact on my operations, and how, and those of them that would possibly encumber my operations, or those of them that can also even support my operations. So for me, stakeholders mapping and power mapping is very key.
Okay. You're next up.
I think that the center of the work I am speaking of as a person that is working in NGO sector, you have to clearly define your mission and your goals, because I think that if you can't, if you don't know what you want to achieve, you simply can't achieve it, because your work, your time, and even your partnerships that you have will not give the maximum result.
So I have this curiosity. It's called the term government relations. And it occurs to me that's a very, very broad term. So we're just going to pipe in if you've got an answer, but would somebody tell me what that term means to them? And I'll define it. Are you trying to influence a public figure? Are you trying to get a regulation taken away or imposed by a government bureaucracy? Are you trying to influence the government by some sort of elaborate advertising? Are you trying to influence members of the legislative branch? And if so, how so? So, what's your answer to that?
So I may go first,
Sure.
if you would like. I would like just to share the example of what we do throughout the Creative Society project in terms of government relations as well. What we're trying to put out to the public as well as the government is the importance of actually creating such a format of society where human life comes first. And in terms of government relations, we are trying to spread this information as much as possible, make this message reach every human being on planet Earth, and create an electoral demand so that our government representatives could actually implement it worldwide. So to actually create conditions for human life, human safety, transparency and openness of information be implemented not just in paper, but in deed, so that our society, our communities could be active participants in the governmental processes as well, so that we would not shift the responsibility, I mean just, the population of planet Earth, onto one person or just a group of people who are representing us, but to work together towards achieving this goal. So government relation, in my understanding, is actually this combination of actions, mutual actions of the communities, of the society, and its representatives towards working on actually achieving, and not even achieving, creating this evolutionary step towards our development in general as a society of the planet Earth. So it is a combination of efforts of both parties, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to actually bring awareness to the world and to the people that each individual is a society. Each individual is responsible for whatever takes place in their community, in their city, in their country, and in our world in general. So to me, this is the combination of mutual work towards achieving better results globally.
Let's turn to our two online panelists. Do either of you have an agreement with what we just heard, or would you care to embellish on what we just heard?
I think, excuse me.
No, please go on. I was trying to ask if they could speak up a bit louder because I can barely hear from here, please.
Who can't you hear?
She cannot hear you because you need to speak on the microphone, because this mic for Zoom.
Oh, this is the mic for Zoom.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay,
Oh,
all right.
sorry.
Yeah, could you repeat the question, maybe using this microphone? Yeah.
Okay, did you hear what was said for the last question and the answer?
No, I did not.
Did you hear the question?
She didn't.
No, I did not.
Okay, the question was, what does government relations mean to you?
Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh, okay. So to me, government relations refers to the strategic management of relationships and interactions could be between an organization and government entities, and this is usually at various levels. Could be at the local level, a national level, regional, or even at an international level. It basically encompasses the efforts to understand, influence, engage the government such that you're able to influence maybe policies, regulations, even the decision-making processes, just to advance your interest as an organization or as an industry. That's my understanding.
Okay, so is it influence in relationships to achieve a certain end, or is it maintaining a network in case you decide that you do want something to happen?
I would say it's all encompassing. You want to maintain your network, and at the same time, you also want to influence, have a possibility of influencing perhaps future policies or future processes.
Okay, can you share with us any cause that you have been involved with that is of great interest to you?
Okay, more recently in Nigeria, we have something called the Petroleum Industry Act, which was previously a bill. It was enacted in 2021, and my experience with that as a government relations professional in the energy sector was I first had to map out what possible issues at the time when the government had circulated the draft bill. So we had a public hearing where all participants had to review and possibly highlight issues they may be having with the proposed bill. What I did was I reviewed the current operations that my organization had and how that bill was going to either positively or negatively impact its operations, including the fiscal terms that were being proposed So following the reviews we had internally, which was not limited to the government relations team, we also had our legal, our tax experts, and our financial planners review the draft proposed bill. And what we did was we had our issues logged, and we used that to influence the outcome of that bill, which later became an act.
Okay. All right, thank you. Dimitar?
In my case, our organization is working both on national and on European level. That's because of the matter that we are focusing on. As I say, our primary aim is to guarantee the independence of Bulgarian judges and prosecutors. So, to achieve our goals, we have to work or cooperate with public authority. For example, in Bulgaria, there's an public authority body which is named Supreme Judicial Council. That council basically elects the chief prosecutor, the heads of both Supreme Courts, the Supreme Court of Cassation and the Supreme Administrative Court in Bulgaria. So in this civil council, this is a council where various NGOs, both professional and expert NGOs like our, are working together on various, we are discussing various bills, also other matters that have connection to the topic of independence of Bulgarian magistrates and in general the judiciary in Bulgaria. So if you want to propose some reform in, for example, legislative act in Bulgaria, for example, we don't have the Lobbying Disclosure Act. Lobbying is actually unregulated in Bulgaria. So if you want to propose some act that is if I may say missing in some public sphere is unregulated, we have to cooperate with the public authority.
Okay.
Of course, we are organizing press conferences and other type of events, but the main is that you have to work with the authority.
Okay. All right. Prince, I'm going to start with you.
Sure.
Here's the question. What is the most complicated task you ever endeavored to accomplish, and what are some of the tools you used to get it done?
You know, every task seems complicated, but what has always helped me was sort of what Chidima mentioned earlier, is making sure that you have a network. I'll give you an example. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was leading a group of people that managed volunteers that went into the homes of a high-risk population. So I stopped it, and they said that population is still very vulnerable. So what can we do, Prince? And I said, well, you tell me. And that day, we turned it from an in-home visitor program that supported caregivers to, and we didn't know it at the time, a loneliness program. And no one was talking about loneliness at that level, except maybe the Surgeon General. But now it has been growing, and I've been having these incredible conversations with people from Ukraine, people from Kazakhstan, people from Japan, because this is an issue that has sort of flown under the radar. And one of the reasons why I'm bringing it up now is that it has grown in awareness because of the grassroots, because of the network of people that were actually seeing it firsthand. And then we raised it up to our government relations people. So that was really difficult because it wasn't made to happen by a president or Congress or anything like that. It was by the people, which is the way the best things work.
Okay, great. Katerina.
Thank you so much. Very interesting question. And I'll try to keep it short since we're limited in time. But what I can think of right now is actually bringing the faith back into people. So making the people believe in themselves, this is very difficult. And this is something that what we are trying to do in the Creative Society project as well throughout this, the framework of this project. Because right now, if we look at the society globally, there are a lot of inactive people who are just shifting the responsibility onto the representatives, onto the president, onto some active members of society, which are not a majority for sure. And why is that happening? Because basically the system has been designed in such a way that we are taught not to believe in ourselves, not to believe in our inner potential and the fact that we are capable of changing things. We're capable of actually bringing in the change to the world on the local level and on the global level as well. And we are capable of actually influencing the laws that are being, created. We're capable of actually having this symbiosis, working in this symbiosis with the government. So this is something that is very complicated to accomplish, but this is something that we are doing right now in the Creative Society project. And how we're doing this, we are actually right now in the first stage of implementing this project, which is informational stage, and we are talking to people. We're trying to bring awareness, first of all, that we as human beings are simply amazing. We have a tremendous potential. We have a huge knowledge base of ours as a humanity for the past thousands of years that we can use to actually gather together the best cases, the best examples in each and every country and implement them worldwide. So if talking about the tools that we use, it's of course social media, it's social networks, because internet right now, along with the technology, provides us amazing opportunity to communicate with each other. And we can see this right now, no matter what time zone, we have an opportunity to just pick up a cell phone, log into Zoom, and have an open conversation with each other, share our views, share our experience, and by this enrich each other. So we also conduct international online forums that are being interpreted into 150 languages, making this information available to people in their native language. So this is something that we are in the process of doing, but so far what I can say, let's say 3 years ago, nobody knew about the project, nobody knew about the Creative Society. But right now there are millions of people who already support the project and who already become active members of society locally, and they bring the change on the global level as well.